Before this story unfolds, before the garden, before the pain, before a single choice changed everything, pause for just 1 second. If you enjoy real stories that blur the line between comfort and chaos, stories that slowly pull you in and refuse to let go, subscribe to this channel now and turn on notifications. Because once this story begins, there's no turning back. That morning began like 100 others before it. Quiet, predictable, and wrapped in the soft promise of routine. The sun hung low in the sky, gentle and warm, as if it had no intention of rushing the day. Birds whispered secrets from the trees lining the fence, and the air carried that faint, earthy scent only early mornings possess. I was in my garden. My hands were buried deep in the soil, fingertips brushing against roots that were still learning how to belong to this earth. One by one, I nestled the young rose saplings into their places, pressing the soil around them carefully, almost tenderly. This garden had always been my refuge, my silence, my therapy. After my husband Robert passed away, this was where I came to breathe again, where grief softened its grip just enough for me to survive. Every flower planted here carried a memory. Every vine had witnessed my quiet conversations with the past. And that morning, everything felt normal. Too normal. I had no idea that within minutes, something invisible would shift. No warning. No sign. Just a sharp reminder that life never asks for permission before it changes. As I leaned forward to adjust the final sapling, a sudden, stabbing pain tore through my back. It wasn't gradual. It wasn't polite. It was sharp, electric, and unforgiving. The air left my lungs in one shallow gasp as my fingers loosened, soil spilling from my hands. I froze, half bent, half kneeling, caught between movement and collapse. For a brief moment, I closed my eyes. Breathe, Elaine, I told myself. Just breathe. But the pain didn't listen. It spread from my shoulder, traveling downward like fire along my spine, locking my body in place. Every attempt to shift only made it worse. My muscles rebelled, refusing to obey even the smallest command. And that's when I heard his voice. Elaine, are you okay? The sound startled me. I hadn't realized I wasn't alone. I turned my head just enough to see him standing a few steps away, frozen, concern etched across his face. Taylor. My step-nephew. He was 22, full of restless energy and strength that hadn't yet learned restraint. Tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of effortless presence that made people notice without him ever trying. Sunlight caught in his hair as he rushed toward me, his expression shifting from confusion to worry in seconds. I can't move. I managed, my voice thinner than I expected. There's something wrong with my back. He dropped to one knee beside me without hesitation. Okay, he said calmly, though I could hear the tension beneath it. Don't try to move. I've got you. At 67, I was used to people asking questions. How do you stay so youthful? What's your secret? Do you ever slow down? The truth was simple. Discipline, movement, care. But what I never told them, what no one ever saw, was the quiet loneliness stitched into my days. I looked vibrant on the outside. Inside, I carried silence like a second skin. Taylor gently placed a hand near my shoulder, careful, unsure. Does it hurt here? He asked. I nodded. Here, and down my back. I just can't shift. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The garden, once my sanctuary, felt suddenly too open, too exposed. The breeze brushed against my skin, and for the first time that morning, I felt vulnerable. This isn't something we can fix out here, he said finally, voice steady but serious. Let's get you inside. Slowly. I hesitated. Not because I didn't trust him, but because something about this moment felt different. Like standing at the edge of a path I hadn't planned to take. Still, pain has a way of making decisions for you. With his arm braced firmly around me, Taylor helped me rise. Every movement was deliberate, careful. His grip was strong, grounding, anchoring me when my own body refused to cooperate. Easy, he murmured. One step at a time. As we moved toward the house, I felt an unexpected sensation wash over me. Safety. Not the kind that comes from familiarity, but the kind that surprises you when you least expect it. Inside, the house was quiet. The fireplace crackled softly, casting a warm golden glow across the room. Taylor guided me toward the floor, laying out a thick blanket near the hearth. "The warmth will help," he explained. "I'll grab something to ease the muscles." I lowered myself carefully, the fire's heat sinking into my back, loosening the tightness just enough for me to breathe again. As he returned, cream warming between his palms, I realized something unsettling. This wasn't just about pain anymore. It was about closeness. About boundaries quietly blurring. About emotions I hadn't allowed myself to name in years. And as his hands hovered, hesitating for just a fraction of a second before helping me further, I knew deep down that this day was already rewriting itself. The fire crackled softly behind us, each pop echoing louder than it should have. I lay still on the blanket, staring at the ceiling beams I had known for decades. Yet suddenly they felt unfamiliar, like witnesses to something unspoken. Taylor knelt beside me, careful not to rush. His movements were controlled now, almost restrained, as though he sensed the invisible tension thickening the air. "Elaine," he said quietly, "tell me if anything hurts more. I don't want to make it worse." I nodded, unable to trust my voice. His hands worked slowly, deliberately, never crossing a line, never careless. Yet even in that carefulness, I felt something stir inside me that had nothing to do with muscles or pain. It frightened me, because the ache in my back was easing, but the ache in my chest was awakening. As his fingers pressed gently along my shoulders, memories surfaced without warning. Robert's laughter in this very room. Long evenings by the fire. Hands that once knew my body, not in urgency, but in devotion. Grief doesn't disappear with time. It just learns how to wait. "I didn't realize how much tension you were carrying," Taylor said after a moment. "Not just here," he added softly, tapping near my shoulder blade, "but everywhere." I swallowed. "That's what happens when you learn to be strong for too long," I replied. "You forget what it feels like to let go." The room fell quiet again. His hands paused, and in that stillness, everything I had been avoiding rose to the surface. This wasn't about attraction. This wasn't about temptation. It was about loneliness, the most dangerous emotion of all. Taylor leaned back slightly, giving me space, as if he too felt the shift. "Elaine," he said carefully, "I need to say something, and I want to say it the right way." My heart tightened. He continued, eyes fixed on the fire rather than me. "When I came by today, I just wanted to help around the garden. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to see how much you've been carrying alone." I turned my head enough to see him now. "You remind me of someone who's always giving," he said, "but never letting anyone give back." His words landed gently, but they landed deep. "I'm okay, Taylor," I said quickly, too quickly. "I've always been okay." He looked at me then. Really looked. "That's the thing," he replied. "You shouldn't always have to be." Silence stretched between us. Not uncomfortable, but heavy with meaning. Then finally, I spoke the truth I had been circling all along. "This closeness," I said quietly. "It's not wrong, but it's not right either." He didn't flinch. "I know," he said immediately. "And I don't want to cross a line that can't be uncrossed." Relief washed over me, sharp, sudden, almost overwhelming. In that moment, I realized something important. Respect is louder than desire. And care doesn't always need to be acted upon to be real. Taylor stood and offered me his hand, not to pull me closer, but to help me up. "Let's get you to the couch," he said gently. "You'll heal better sitting upright." As I took his hand, I felt steadiness, not confusion. Support, not longing. The fire continued to burn, warm and constant, but the storm inside me had quieted. Later, after some rest and a cup of tea, the pain had dulled to something manageable. Taylor gathered his jacket, lingering near the door. "I'll check on you tomorrow," he said. "And Elaine, you don't have to do everything alone." I smiled, a real one this time. "And you," I replied, "don't have to carry concern that isn't yours." He nodded, understanding passing silently between us. When the door closed behind him, I returned to the garden window. The roses stood upright again, soil packed firmly around their roots. Sometimes, storms don't come to destroy. Sometimes they come to reveal what still needs care. That day reminded me of something I had forgotten. Healing isn't about replacing what was lost. It's about honoring it, without letting emptiness decide your future. I wasn't broken. I wasn't weak. I was human. And for the first time in a long while, that felt like enough. Some moments test our strength. Others remind us that dignity, restraint, and self-respect are the truest forms of power.